To be honest, I really didn't feel it at all. Just the shock and the adrenaline of it all. Wasn't taking notice until I walked into my grandma's bathroom, and it was, oh my God, mijo, you have blood on your leg. And I thought that it wasn't even mine. I thought, oh. And then she got to the bottom of it, and that's when I was like, oh shit, I'm shot. And at that point in time, what it felt like was burning ants crawling out of me. So almost like, could you explain this? Like if you had a hole in you that was just seeping hot water, like boiling hot water. That's the only description I can make of it,
Of the gunshot wound.
Of the gunshot wound, yeah. It was a 22. 22s are known for having no exit wound. They go in, they bounce around. And they can do a lot of damage like that. They actually didn't remove all the metal out of my leg because they were afraid that it was going to stunt some growth at some level, being me so young. So they left some pieces of it. And when it gets really cold out, I feel that cold. And it's a different kind of ache and sensation. It's not comfortable by any means, but the complications would have been a lot more extensive if they were have to taking it all out of me. So I live with a bit of metal in my leg, and that's my little trophy, my little keepsake. So just another one of those things. I've lost count of all of the scars and the, injuries and broken bones and whatnot. And same thing with tattoos. People are always like, how many tattoos do you have? Well, I don't know. What do they really mean? Tattoos, they don't necessarily have to mean something. They can mean just a piece of art.
Why do you have War Child tattooed on your face?
I was given that from how would I put this in layman's terms without spoiling things? The guys running the show gave me this tattoo. I didn't know what it was going to say or what I was getting. I was just told to sit down and that I was going to receive this tattoo. And it came with the territory of the way I was going about things and the way I carried out certain actions. And I'm still embarrassed about it to this day. It's not something that I'm proud of. I do remember when I was real little, probably about like 4 or 5, we'd be in the kitchen and then there'd be a spider and like my aunt or my cousin or something would go to kill a spider to go throw it away, and I would plead and beg with them to just sweep it up and let it go outside and let it free. And I know that's still in here, that part of me is still in there. But when I see this here, it just reminds me of the complete opposite of what a time and a place developed and what I had to do to survive. And not only that, what I began to take enjoyment in, which was like essentially, the downfall and just sorrow that I was bringing other people. I don't think it's okay to hurt a man. It doesn't sit well with me to this day. It's taken me a long time to forgive myself for the things that I've done. I've come to terms with it. But it's so funny. I remember my child's mother we'd be in a nice part of San Diego, like in La Jolla or something. And people would be staring at me, and I'd be like, "Why are these people staring at me?" And she would say, "They're trying to read your face, dumbass." And that's when it would click. I'd be like, "Oh yeah, duh. That makes sense, you know." But I never put the two and two together because I've been gone for so long, you know.
How long you been on the streets?
Oh guys, this is a long one. Well, first and foremost, when I went into CPS when I was 5 years old, I would skip out from there constantly. I had a lot of write-ups. I was known as more of a flight risk because I didn't want to be in the CPS home because of the whatever verbal abuse or what have you going on. My foster family, I was pretty good with them. I might say out on my bike a little bit too late, but that was about that. But
And drugs? They've been around most of your life?
yeah, I was telling you about how I was born on methadone and crack. So it was always apparent. Yeah, I'll never forget the smell of pot. You know, my dad was a big surfer dude. It was almost a staple in life. Like, if I smelled pot, it meant dad was home and he was relaxing. Just let him do his thing. Now, if I smelled tequila, that also meant dad was home, and that meant let him do his thing, as in, if you smell that coming, leave or hide. Because he was the kind of drunk where he would be drunk at about 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon, but have that lost child look on his face and start physicalities for no reason whatsoever. Not even because he had a problem or wanted to, just because he wanted to get physical and you know, fight, wrestle, and be an Irish fuck, you know. Don't get me wrong, like I love my father, my biological father. We have a lot of indifferences. We have a lot of healing. It's going to be a long road if we ever do get to have a relationship, because I've always had to strive for a relationship with him. But it just depends on him as far as how real he wants to get with me. So we'll give it time. You know, he's here in California still, so I'll always have that chance, as long as he's still alive, to make it up to him or to have a relationship with him.
What's your biggest regret in your life?
My biggest regret in life? I know my biggest fear. My biggest fear is to not live up to what I know I'm capable of doing, to sell myself short. Like, I know there's things I'm talented in. I know there's things that I want to accomplish.
What are you good at?
Well,
what do you love?
My God-given talent is drawing, visual. It could be tattooing. It could be, you know, painting on the wall. It could be any sort of creativity whatsoever. It's from just that. And it's been very difficult, especially because when you have like my lifestyle, it's constantly like a wildfire. You're constantly losing everything. And how do you have a life's work of stuff when you have nothing to show for it because it's gone all the time, you know? You don't. you don't get to see any progression in your work or this, that, and the other. It's just always just gone. And it fucking blows my mind. It's almost like a horror movie.
How do you make money?
When I first came here for my grandma's funeral, I was ranching out in Arizona. I left here in February 2018. There was an indictment that was going to hit the homies. I don't care. I'll be free to talk about this. If anyone has anything bad to say about it, well, they can fucking kiss my ass because I was there and I know what happened and I'm in good standing. There was an indictment that was about to hit and I wanted to be nowhere near it, so I left in February 2018 on the 28th, right after my birthday. And I left my woman of 4 years, and her and I were very close. And I had called my biological mom, who I hadn't spoken to in over 8 years. She is a flight attendant for United Airlines, and she lives in Costa Rica. She showed up at my apartment 4 days later, banging on the door saying, we gotta go. Uh-oh. And I said, so anyways, basically, what was the question again, sir? I'm sorry.
I was asking how you make money.
Yeah, making money. When I first got into town, I had money saved, and it was basically from ranching. When I moved out to Arizona, I was lucky enough to have a couple guys take me under their wings that were sober. They had stopped drinking. They're also from Los Angeles. One of them was from Arizona, and they were ranchers. One of them bred championship horses, and the other one was a roper. And you have this city kid who's all of a sudden now has a pair of cowboy boots and is learning how to ride horses and swooping shit and living that lifestyle. And it was tiring, but it was rewarding, because at the end of the night I slept like a baby because I worked my ass off all day, and I was okay with that. I was really okay with that. And on that token, being around those horses and that ranch during that period of my life was the most peace I've ever had in my entire life. It was the most happiness I've ever had in my entire life. Like, inside and out. For me to really actually feel I'm gonna be okay. Yeah, so I made money doing that for a while. And then, gosh, how else did I make money? A lot of my friends were boosting, but I had done boosting about 10, 15 years prior to that, and had quit because the ball game had changed. Plus, I had a car now, which that was well suspected, and yeah.
But how do you make money, like currently, like this week?
It's been a difficult one. I've had to find a few new avenues on doing things because I refuse to boost. It's not something I'm willing to do. It's not something I want to do. I'm not gonna be that part of society. Boost. Rather steal some actual bike. And yeah, I like to take bikes, yeah, and to do it on the west side where people have money, where they're not really taking care of their stuff or taking it for granted, at least.
Are you stealing bicycles?
Yeah, I'll do that from time to time. Yeah, if I'm really lucky, I'll get to see if I hire someone.
Here, I'll let you get well. There we go. Yeah. So tell me what happened to your arm.
Earlier this year, I came out here for my grandma's funeral. A couple days later, right there on Maple between 6 and 7, got hit by a car. You know, drunk driver, 7 o'clock in the morning, got dragged about 35, 40 feet. And, you know, I hobbled over there to the police station looking like a bear just attacked me, and shouted out to one of the cops I seen coming out of the cruiser and said, like, hey, you know, I got in an accident, like, I don't know what to do. And he stopped, he turned around, he looked me up and down, turned back around, kept on walking, and said, go fill out a complaint online. And that just confused me more. A little piece of me broke right there too. And I guess they found me on down the road. I was in a coma. You know, they said I'd never walk again. They said I was gonna lose my left arm. They took all the skin off my leg. All the tattoos that you see on here are from my leg. All the tattoos I had, they're gone.
So the tattoos that are on your arm were on your leg.
Right here on my top thigh, everything. Like all you see, it's pretty much just peel and paste, staples. I mean, I took all the staples out myself, you know. USC, I was always scared of hospitals growing up because, you know, that's where people go to die. And man, I always thought the same. And, you know, they release me and they tell me to go to this place that's going to give me aftercare and do this and that. And I go to the place and the place is just an address that doesn't exist. And I'm in the middle of downtown in a gown. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do now, you know? So just start getting loaded again, kill the fucking pain. Because I don't, that's what I revert to.
If you had your life to live all over again, Dusty, what would you have done differently?
I would have focused on the things that I love to do in life. I would have tried to have more relationships I was present for. And yeah, I would have told the people, even if I got in an argument or something, that I love them. Because you never know when the last time you're going to see someone is. That was something I regret over the years. Been a better father. Been a father, period, present. Definitely not been a junkie or a gang member or any of the above. Would look something like that.
What would you say is your greatest strength?
I think I could level with people on a one-on-one basis. It doesn't matter where you come from. There's something in there we could relate to. I'm good at hearing people out. And my foster brother, he once told me I was like a cockroach. And I thought that was the best compliment I ever got, even though he was talking shit to me. But I think that too, like I always get back up, no matter what the circumstances are. Sometimes I don't want to, but I do anyways. It's like just programmed in me to keep on going. Say that right there, yeah.
Where would you like to be in 5 years?
Doing what I love most, man. Just doing my art, getting it back to the tattoo industry. Man, just all the little hobbies and stuff I like to do. Be around people I care for. I don't like people, period, but there's a few of them in there that, you know, I want to be around. Be financially just, you know, I don't want everything in the world. I just want to be around my cool little life, so I don't have to live by, you know, circumstances that put me, you know, like this one, like on the street and having to spend time doing shit that I don't need to be sticking my nose in. Because then it's just be like, boom, right back to prison. It's the same old thing. It's a vicious cycle. Like, I know what happens, but I'm going to try this way anyways because I know it. Boom. It's like same results, same results. So yeah, I'd get a little farther this time. Just have a cool, little, peaceful life I can call mine.
Tell me about the reality of living this drug-addicted, homeless lifestyle. Is it just hard to even get a leg up because you're just constantly dealing with the pressure of not having a roof over your head, not having the drugs you need, not having the money to buy the drugs?
First of all, you got to keep up, because if you don't, the world's going to eat you up real quick. It's going to do that regardless. It's hard to stay one step ahead all the time, but the reality is you got to know when to call it and retreat, and to let yourself heal and come back. If you keep on going out there and try to hit it harder, well, these fucking streets are even harder, and you'll be gone just like that. You can't have too big of an ego. You can't go around thinking you're the biggest, baddest when you're not. You got to think of strategy, and it's a lot of trial and error. I'm only 36 years old, but I've been out here for a very long time because I've had a lot of trial and error. Yeah, the reality is you're gonna go to prison. The reality is you're gonna die. The reality is you're never gonna be around loved ones because they're always waiting for the hat to drop. Or you basically, if they're around you, they're gonna be collateral damage because of the stuff you're into. So you just choose not to be, because you don't want to hurt the ones you love. You're gonna be alone. You ain't gonna have nowhere to call home. And the only person that cares about you is the one that's trying to get some dope from you. And that ain't much to call something respectable or something I like to, perceive myself as doing good, Yeah.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
I would say having to take accountability of the things I've done, and having to learn how to basically forgive myself so I can, live with myself. But on top of all that, not doing those things again and acting those ways so that the same shit happens. That's a big deal to me. That if I fuck up, I could say, yeah, it was me. Now everything always comes back to me when things go wrong, which everything does always go wrong. But in some shape or form, when most people want to point fingers, the only finger I'm pointing at is myself. I think that's been the most important lesson, hands down.
All right. Dusty, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, of course.
Wish you lots of luck out here.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks.